All right, welcome back, Oulton Park International, not national as I've called it in the past. It's international. Uh, it's a really fun track, really good racing, really good battling. Can be a bit crashy, but this is a great track, a great combo with the Ray. So setup, 28 mils in the front, not as low as it goes. There are a few curbs here that are disruptive. Whether you're going over them on purpose or by accident, having the ride height up a little bit is going to make those curbs less disruptive. Um, Damper compression 21, just to help keep that front end a little bit more loaded up. ARB is 0, of course. Rebound stiffness 0. Brake bias 56.5 for me. For you, it's a different number, but probably a little bit on the lower side of what you normally have it. Spring rate 22, low as they go in the front and in the rear. Camber, you know my channel. Left 1 degree, right 0.8. Go with the higher value if you want to keep them symmetrical. Toe in 1.4. Look at this, no yellows, no yellows. Easy to set up this time. 1.4, 1.5. I mean, you could go with 1.5, but I think that's overdoing it. Spring rates again, low as they go in the rear. 0.8 on the left, 0.7 on the right. Go with the higher value if you want to keep those symmetrical. Toe in 0.2. Again, you could go a little bit higher. It might help your braking out a little bit and tire temps a little bit, but I found point 0.2 was working the best. And ride height in the rear, 37. So again, definitely not as low as it goes. And again, just because there are some of those disruptive curbs. ARB is 20. You do need to get the car rotated around here. Some very tight corners, and also even the faster, wider corners, you do have to get the car rotated. It's easy to slide wide, and having that ARB cranked up allows you to get the car rotated better and get on the throttle earlier. Damper compression 6 and 18, pretty standard. Fuel level 14 liters is going to get you to the end for sure. 13 liters probably will do it. But 14 if you want to be safe and not sweating if you've got enough fuel for the last lap. And gear stack short. I think short is going to work here. Yes, you do get to the rev limit just before the braking zone, and it does help you stay in better gears. So I think short is really going to actually work here. I don't believe you are going to get penalized in the draft. So standard might be the way to go, but I do think short is going to be the way to do it. All right, track is 26. Uh, Oulton Park has definitely been on the calendar for a while. This is a little hotter than what it has been in the past. Usage is 35%, so it is my standard for the guides. So we'll go into this in slow-mo and then run it out at full speed. So coming into turn 1, looking for the black advertising here. At the start of the black advertising, getting on the brakes in 4th gear. First lap or 2 or 3, you might want to downshift into 3rd just to keep the car a little bit better under control while the tires are cold. But just a little bit of brake just to load up the front end. I came in here just a little hot, a little counter steer there, and then getting off the brake and picking up the throttle nice and early. And you got to get on these curbs. You got to get on the red and white curb, and actually better to get into the grass here between the slope and the curb. No X for that. You got to cut this corner as much as possible, otherwise you are going to slide wide and you are going to pick up an X. So exiting, unwinding the wheel is long. I believe the rule, this is a little tricky, I believe the rule is if your right hand tire is on the curbs, you are good. If you cross over the curbs, if you get on the grass, you do pick up an X. I have been passed by people going a little wide picking up that X, so it is a bit of a strategy. But if you are way over. If you are on the grass, I believe by the end of the curbs or by the end of the grasscrete, then you get a slowdown. So watch out for that one, because that is painful. So keeping it to the right hand side here, passes will definitely be attempted here as well as turn one, so yeah, watch out for that, people going up the inside. So looking for the dip in the track in fourth gear, braking just before that dip. Again, cold tires, you might want to do this in third. You might want to downshift and just releasing the brakes. This is downhill. That's why the damper compression is turned up a little bit in the front. Watch out, very easy to lose the back end here. Very easy, the back end gets very light, so watch out for that. Very important to get on the throttle nice and early to keep that back end a little bit more planted. And getting onto these curbs well before the apex. I was playing with the throttle there a little bit, just managing the speed, but very important, big straight here. You want to be on throttle nice and early. If you are not, you are going to lose a tremendous amount of time. And this is another voodoo exit. So I don't know what the official rule is. If you get onto the curb and get onto this thin patch of grasscrete, you're okay, but if you get onto this thin patch of grasscrete without touching the curb, I do believe you get an X, and if you are anything wider of the curb, you are going to get an X. Not terrible in a race, you're not going to die or anything, but your quali lap will be ruined, so watch out for that. Be very careful on this corner in quali. Another big passing opportunity, obviously, into this one. Leaving it in fourth gear and trying to get right, using all of the track, trying to get right onto this patch of cement past the white line. If you get onto the grass, A, you might spin, and B, you do pick up an X, so keep it on the pavement. Fourth gear, coming in, just lifting a little bit. You can come in with full throttle, however, you are going to be sliding wide, and sliding wide is not fast. So just lifting a little bit, keeping the car from sliding, and then picking up the throttle back to full power once the car is, once you're through the apex there. Again, another passing opportunity. Lots of passing opportunities on this track. Looking for the end of the tire barrier here in this, whatever this is, Marshall Station something or other, or the green, you can use the green marker, but braking in between them. Down into second, very hard on the brakes. You can come in here a little bit hotter, but you are going to sacrifice a tremendous amount of speed on exit. And releasing the throttle as you turn in here. Again, this is quite a cambered corner, but it is a pretty sharp corner. If you are on the brakes and you are turning that wheel, you are going to be spinning. And then I came in here maybe just a little wide, releasing the brakes and then picking up the throttle nice and early. This is surprisingly a bit of a stretch of full throttle, and if you came in here too hot, you are going to lose a tremendous amount of time on exit. You will be surprised how much that delta goes up. And then just unwinding the wheel. Watch out for these curbs. These curbs aren't your friends on this one. It is easy to get a little bit of a tire slip on these curbs, so watch out on exit. Those curbs are a little bit dangerous on this one. And another passing opportunity. Getting the car over to the right hand side in fourth gear. Watch out for people going up the inside, and it's basically as soon as the wheel gets straight, the bend in the track here, just a little bit of brake, shifting down into third gear, and then you want to get over top of these curbs right up tight against that tire barrier, and then shifting down into second as you get to the tire barrier, just keeping the brakes on, and then releasing the brakes, getting close up against this tire barrier as close as you dare, and picking up the throttle nice and early, leaving it in second gear through this. Again, not really wanting to shift down into first for this one, but on cold tires you may want to shift down into second on entry. And then this one is a deadly X. If you get on the grass in front of the curb here, you're going to pick up an X. Again, no big deal in a race, but in quali that's a wrecker. I don't know how I didn't get an X there. I just grazed it. And then full throttle nice and early, well before the apex. Very big straight here, and you do not want to be losing time in this section using all the curb on exit. Hey, and again, another passing opportunity. Look at that. Lots of passing opportunities here. So between the 100 and the 50 board, closer to the 100 board, just after the 100 board, getting on the brakes, shifting down into second. This is a pretty tight section here. Can be very crashy if you're battling for this one, so watch out. Second gear, and again, releasing the brakes as you turn in. Very easy to spin it out through this section, and as tight as you dare up against the tire barrier there, get onto the curb, and picking up the throttle, again, very important. This is the apex, and from here on out you want to be picking up the throttle. So I was a little late on the throttle there, picking it up nice and early, not stomping on it, just managing the throttle, and again tight up against the tire barrier here. You can run the car out a little bit wider, but you do have to get over to the left here very quickly, so watch out for that. Second gear, just shifting up into third, short stack. Third gear is going to like it. Watch how much grass you touch on the side here. If you get a full wheel on the grass, I believe you do pick up an X, and also that car is going to want to step out on you. So just grazing the grass on entry, and then just managing the throttle. Can't really stomp on it through here, and cutting this corner. Make sure your left-hand tire is within the white line, and you should avoid that X. If you really cut this corner, I do believe it is a slowdown, so don't do that. And then unwinding the wheel onto the curbs here, and again, this whole track, deadly for X's. If you get a full tire onto the grass crete, you are going to get an X. If you graze it, you are okay. So watch out, the X's can add up on this track really quick, especially with a little car contact added in. So yeah, picking up the throttle, just working your way up through the gears. Another passing opportunity, so watch out, somebody might be trying to go up the inside. Outside's pretty hard to pass, but if you get on the inside, you can certainly make a pass. Looking for this green marker just before it, getting on the brakes. Again, cold tires, you might want to shift into third for the first lap or two or three, but leaving it in fourth once the tires are warmed up. Little bit of brake, not heavy on the brake, just to load up the front end, get the turn in, and then getting right up tight against the curbs here. I would want to be on the throttle here. I was a little late on the throttle. Earlier the better, because this is another big straight, and you can lose a tremendous amount of time in this one. And again, full throttle. By now, hitting this second apex, could have been a little tighter there. And running the car out wide, and again, once more, do not hit the grass in front of the curbs, get onto the curbs, do not put a full tire over the curb, otherwise you do get that X. And you will see guys getting on the grass here and coming across the track, so watch out. If someone runs really wide here, they are probably coming across the track. And again, another big passing opportunity. So looking for the turn-in board here in the Marshall station. You can also look for the dip in the track. That's a little hard to see if there's a car in front of you though, so just be aware of that. In fourth gear, shifting down into second, hard on the brakes. You really have to slow the car down more than you think. This is a downhill slope again, so if releasing the brakes as you turn in, otherwise your car is going to be spinning out if you are hard on the brakes and turning in. Came in here just a little hot maybe, and then picking up the throttle nice and early, well before the apex, and then letting the car run out wide. Getting onto the curbs here, they aren't really much trouble here on exit, and again, just watch out, full tire on the grass, you get that X. If you graze the grass, no problem. And just holding a tight line to the left here is the fastest way. If you run it out wide to the right, it's slower. So keep a tight line through there, and then it is a quick run to the line. So passing here, unless the guy really screwed up that last corner, is going to be hard to battle for this last little stretch. So that is a 1:43.5. I think that will be a pretty competitive time. So we'll run this out at full speed. Good luck.